This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Amanda Stevens, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Friday, June 27th. Beijing planned kinetic action against Taiwan VP Xiao in Czechia, according to Czech military intelligence. President Lai says everyone is needed to build a resilient society. And the Taiwan dollar surges as de-dollarization gains steam. But first, today's top story. Taiwan's current Vice President Xiao Bi-khim was followed by Chinese military attachés during her trip to Czechia mid-March last year, according to the Czech military intelligence, as reported by the news outlet iRozhlas this Thursday. The media outlet quoted military intelligence, saying that Beijing planned to launch, quote, kinetic action, end quote, against Xiao, who was then Vice President-elect. Xiao took the trip to Prague mid-March last year, subsequent to being elected and prior to taking office, during which she met with Senate Czech President Miloš Vystrčil. At the time, local media reported the vice president-elect's visit caused dissatisfaction in China, prompting personnel from the Chinese military and Chinese embassy in Czechia to follow her, nearly causing a car accident. However, an official statement to confirm suspicions and reports wasn't issued until this Thursday. Czech military intelligence director Peter Bartovsky said that while Beijing's plan to take kinetic action against Xiao was not fully formed, preparations had been made. The report outlined that the Chinese embassy's military and air attaché office deployed personnel before Xiao's arrival in Czechia and began monitoring her when she arrived at the airport in Prague. A Chinese diplomat's vehicle with a diplomatic vehicle registration plate was spotted following Xiao's motorcade and ran a red light on the way to the airport to the city, appearing to attempt to collide with one of the vehicles, as detailed in the report. The Chinese diplomat responded to questions at the time, saying he was on his way to dinner, but military intelligence representatives now confirm this was premeditated. As Czech Defense Ministry spokesperson Jan Pacek confirmed the incident, he said that the actions carried out by Chinese embassy and Czechia personnel are in serious violation of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Czech Foreign Ministry spokesperson Jakub Augustin stated that the ministry has taken action to prevent similar incidents from occurring again. iRozhlas reached out to the Chinese embassy for comment, but had not yet received a reply at the time of publication. The fourth meeting of President Lai Ching-te's Whole of Society Defense Resilience Committee took place Thursday, with a heavy focus on the preparation and promotion of the upcoming Hengguang military exercises. Lai said the government will continue to work with the people to build whole of society resilience, no matter how the international situation changes. Presidential Office spokesperson Karen Kuo reported the president's three major points during the meeting. First, the government should pioneer efforts to get society involved in whole of society defense, starting at the grassroots level. Second, that all levels of government should take initiative to disseminate relevant defense resilience knowledge for both people to feel safer and more prepared, and also to strengthen overall social response. Finally, in the same lane, to continue strengthening the civil-military cooperation and gradually expand the scope of exercises. According to Guo, the president also emphasized that Taiwan's whole-of-society defense was built to respond to threats from abroad and has been recognized by many international allies. In the future, though the work is only likely to get harder, the government will keep a preparation-first attitude to equip the public for what's to come. Lai noted in the meeting that the challenges facing Taiwan require unity across all sectors, at home and abroad, from all those who support the values of freedom and democracy. The president emphasized that the government will show, through actions, that Taiwan can stand tall in the international arena, even under threat. He also said that the results of the Hengguang exercises and the whole-of-society defense would be shared with the international community after the next meeting. The new Taiwan dollar, or NTD, has surged, rising over 20 cents against the U.S. dollar on Wednesday to close at NT 29.165. On Thursday, it opened with strong momentum and briefly entered the NT $28 range. Director General of the Confederation of Asia-Pacific Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Darson Cho, attributed the rally to market expectations of a U.S. Federal Reserve rate cut later this year, following comments by Fed Chair Jerome Powell. A global shift away from the U.S. dollar assets has also weakened the greenback, further boosting the NTD. Cho cautioned, however, that the strength may be short-lived. Taiwan's central bank has recently held back from intervening to avoid being labeled a currency manipulator by the United States. But a new observation period starting in July could give it more room to step in and stabilize the exchange rate. He added that Taiwan's export momentum, buoyed by preemptive shipments ahead of delayed U.S. reciprocal tariffs, may fade in the second half of the year. Combined with mild inflation and the potential for a domestic cut rate, the NTD's rally is unlikely to persist. In contrast, Yin Naiping, an adjunct finance professor at National Tsinghua University, said the global trend of de-dollarization is ongoing and still in its early stages. Whether the US dollar can retain its dominant position remains to be seen. In the short term, it's not only possible for the NTD to remain in the NT $28 range against the dollar, it could even strengthen to the $27 range, as it did in 2021. The Customs Administration has announced preliminary findings of product dumping involving imported beer and certain hot-rolled flat steel from China. It has also determined that these predatory pricing tactics have caused substantial harm to domestic industries. As a result, provisional anti-dumping duties will be imposed starting July 3rd for a 4-month period. For the hot-rolled steel products case, Baoshan Iron and Steel Company Limited will face a provisional anti-dumping duty rate of 16.9%, while other Chinese manufacturers or exporters will be taxed at a rate of 20.15%. In the case of beer, Anheuser-Busch InBev China Sales Company Limited will be subject to a provisional anti-dumping rate of 33.85%. Kirin Brewery, Zhuhai Company Limited, will face a rate of 13.13%. And all other Chinese manufacturers or exporters will be taxed at 64.14%. In response, several DPP legislators held a press conference at the legislature, stating that in recent years, China has systemically developed its beer industry with heavy subsidies aimed at targeting the Taiwanese market. Meanwhile, Taiwanese beer cannot be sold in China, highlighting a severe unbalanced trade relationship. Officials from the Customs Administration and the National Treasury Administration at the event noted that authorities have instructed companies to make improvements, but will allow time for compliance, with the corrections to be completed by January 1, 2026. DPP lawmakers criticized the delay, arguing that with peak summer demand approaching, waiting until the end of the year to finalize measures is too little, too late. Foreign Minister Lin Jialong underscored the importance of Taiwan and Japan's highly complementary industries at a banquet honoring Japanese House of Representatives member and former Economic Security Minister Takayuki Kobayashi on Friday. In the face of China's active expansion and dominance of the global high-tech industry, he said that Taiwan and Japan should work together to strengthen economic resilience and industrial competitiveness, and ensure that the democratic system moves forward steadily. Lin underscored that he hopes to combine government and private resources to expand Taiwan's international space and deepen substantive and reciprocal relations with friendly countries and countries with similar ideas. He said that Taiwan is pleased to see that the Japanese government has recently deepened its strategic partnership with Palau, Paraguay, and Guatemala, and thanked Japan for actively promoting cooperation with Taiwan's allies. He emphasized that since Taiwan and Japan face regional security and economic challenges together, the two sides should deepen cooperation and strengthen joint strategic responses. Takayuki said that Taiwan and Japan have a deep friendship in terms of history, economy, and personnel exchanges. He added that he hopes to enhance the understanding of Taiwan through this visit, which will help promote the development of Taiwan-Japan relations in the future and jointly maintain regional peace and stability. Chen Yuxiu, former director of Songshan Cultural and Creative Park, has been inaugurated as the new tourism director in a ceremony on Friday. Chen is the first female director and the first to step into the role from the private sector. She says she looks forward to leading the promotion of Taiwan's tourism to the world. In her speech, Chen said that she spent 6 years loving Songshan and that the greatest nourishment and benefit of the new position is more time to love all of Taiwan. She elaborated that culture is the soul of tourism and tourism is the stage of culture, continuing that tourism is not just a performance of scenery, but also a resonance of culture and the transmission of values. Chen underscored that Taiwan's most precious tourism assets are its stories and people. In response to media concerns about whether the number of international tourists to Taiwan this year can return to the 10 million mark, Chen said that the conditions look better than last year. She pointed out that she will focus on improving the quality of Taiwan's tourism and will not rush to increase the volume. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Amanda Stevens. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features, brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.
Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, SoundOn Podcast, Spotify, you name it, we're on it. You can find selected shows produced by RTI's English team on different streaming services. All you have to do is search for the show or type RTI. Find an episode you find interesting, hit play, and you'll learn more about Taiwan and its people.